The match season can be a very long and tiring season, spanning up to almost a year. And if you're a first time applicant, it can be confusing in terms of the number of websites, the various deadlines, and the timelines that this match season brings for you. So, what we wanted to do was give you a step by step and a month by month timeline for you to use in the season. We'll also give you the tools that you can use in the season. So the idea is that you can plan well, you can gather your documents, apply on time, and prepare for the interviews for a very successful match season. Now, of course, if you're watching this in April 2020, there is some uncertainty regarding the deadlines because of the COVID 19 situation. The time of the recording, ECFMG hasn't really come out and said that there will be any delays in the applications. In general, the various deadlines and timelines should remain more or less the same, but if there are changes, we will let you know. So watch on and share this with others who may be applying in the season and can benefit from the various deadlines and the website that we are going to present to you in this video. So welcome to this video on the match season, the timeline, tools and tips. Here we'll give you an overview of the match season timeline. So what can you expect each month starting April through March of next year, some of the websites that will come in handy and some of the tips that we've seen over the years. Before we start, just in case you want to know more about us, our team helps IMGs, Caribbean students, and DOs in all aspects of the match other than the exams. So we help in electives, rotations, we help in the application, personal statement, which programs to apply, program communication, interview preparation, including mock interviews, post interview communication, how to reach out to the programs in SOAP if you end up going into SOAP. What about our results? So we've had over 1200 students now in the past 5 to 6 years. We are a truly global company which helps students from over 32 countries, IMGs. And we've had a very successful overall match rate of about 87%. In terms of the match specialties, in addition to the traditional IMG specialties, IM, FM, neurology, pediatrics, psychiatry, pathology, we also help students who have matched in anesthesiology, OBGYN, so very competitive specialty, radiology, prelim programs, general surgery, as well as directly into fellowships and in, say, pediatrics or geriatrics. Here's more information about us if you need to get in touch. All right, so now let's get into the match season timeline and go over the monthly kind of plan. What we have done is we've divided the entire match season into 7 phases depending on the activities and the various websites that you end up using. Starts off in middle of June from a system perspective when the ERAS tokens are available. So that's phase one. And then, you do the program search using Frida or some of the other tools that we'll talk about. That a lot of students start in July till about when it's time to apply. Then you apply ERAS application along with personal statement and the supporting documents. You can start September 6th onwards. That's when you apply to the various programs. The interview season spans end of September through middle of Feb, so that's another phase in itself. NRMP registration. NRMP is the website we'll talk about where you actually register and put your rank order list. So registration starts September end, or I think it's around September 15th. So you can start then. And NRMP is also the tool where you will make your rank order list. So the programs where you interview, you put them in a rank list. So that's the rank order list. Typically students start making their list in middle of January, and then the deadline for this is mid-Feb. And finally is the D-Day, the match week, This is where you will know if you matched, then where you matched, in which specialty. And this is the third week of March, so Monday through Friday. And we'll go over each one of these phases as part of this video. The four or so websites, which are very different entities, but there is some confusion. So I wanted to make sure that you're aware of these different entities. One is ECFMG, then the other is AAMC. AAMC is where the most of the ERAS activities will happen. FRIDA is where you can search programs, you can research programs before you apply. And NRMP is the National Residence Matching Program, or the tool where you will do your rank order list. The role of these various organization entities websites. So ECFMG is quote unquote the Dean's office for IMGs in terms of documentation. This is also where you'll get the ERAS token and register it. And then the My ERAS or the AAMC is where you will complete these residency applications. So your application, personal statement, and then you will apply to the participating programs. Now remember that there are several programs that may not appear on ERAS. They may not be going through ERAS. The percentage is less, but nonetheless there could be programs that are not in ERAS. And also there are programs that may not be going through the match. So NRMP tool is where you will make a rank order list, but there are some pre-match programs, and we have other videos around it. Pre-match programs are not going through the match, so these programs cannot be put in your rank order list in the NRMP. They may be taking application through ERAS, but they make offers out of NRMP, and then they don't go through the NRMP match cycle. Okay, in order to just summarize these three entities, ECFMG is where you will obtain your residency token and start researching the program through FRIDA or even ECFMG. My ERAS is where you will complete the application, certify the application, and apply to the programs. And finally, NRMP is where you will submit your rank order list. Then we broke it up on a month by month kind of basis to give you some sense of the timeline, and maybe you can follow this as you plan the season. Of course, it could vary every year, and it could also vary by the student. And this year, particularly at the time of recording, which is April 2020, there are COVID-19 related issues that may push the timeline out. But so far, we haven't heard anything from ECFMG or any of these entities that the timeline has changed. So this is just a general timeline that has stayed relatively same over the year. So April through June, most of the students finish off their exams if they have any exams pending, like the step 1 CKCS, or some people even take step 3. Then this was also the time when many applicants finish either their electives or they start their externships, the USCE. And there are students who would be doing research, so either they will be doing research at university programs or some of those residency hospitals as research volunteer, or they could be doing remote research, independent research. So that's something that starts in April, almost goes through June. This would also be the time when you can start researching programs. July, very similar, USCE research, but this is also the month where you can probably start uploading or requesting your LOR providers to upload the letters of recommendations. Remember that the letters cannot be uploaded till you purchase and register the ERAS token. So that happens sometimes in mid-June. So we'll talk about it. But typically July is the time when they start uploading the LORs. This would also be the month when you can start thinking about a personal statement and your CV. So some of the things we'll talk about in the video. August is when you want to make sure that if you have completed your exam, the certification is there, and make sure you continue to do the USCE and or research if you've been engaged in that. September is mostly the application month. Students can start applying to the program September 6th, although the programs can access your application only September 15th. So this is again a source of confusion every year. The programs do not see your application till September 15th. September 6th through 14th or 15th is the time that has been added fairly recently. Till about a few years ago, applicants would apply only starting September 15, but they realized IRAS, ECFMG, and some of those bodies that are involved, they realized that the servers were crashing. So they gave you this buffer of about 9 to 10 days where you can apply even on September 6th, and it makes no difference to your application whether you apply on September 6th or day 1, which is September 15th. October, November, and December would be where the interviews start coming in, and you go to the various programs and interview. Many students continue with their USCE and research during this time as well. November is also the date for the early deadline for NRMP registration. You can also register after November, but I think there's an additional fee, so something to keep in mind. December and Jan is when the interviews are wrapping up, so that's another thing to note. But more importantly, if you are looking for H-1B visa, you should be taking step 1 by December or early Jan, so that once you match, the program has enough time to process your paperwork in premium processing and apply for your H-1B. Then Feb is the rank order list deadline. So we'll talk about the NRMP registration, but this would be towards the end of the month. There is a deadline where you have to rank the program, submit your rank order list. So that's an important date to remember. And March is when you hear about the match. So it's always the third week. Monday you will know if you matched, and Friday you will know where you matched, which specialty and which program. So this is the third week of March. Now let me also show you a couple of websites where you can see the various timelines. So there is the ECFMG website and the AAMC website. The URLs are right here. Okay, now how do you get started? Like I mentioned, you can buy the token. So this is a website where you can go and buy your token. The token generally is available end of June, towards the end of June. So once it becomes available, you can go right here and buy your tokens. And remember, you have to register your token as well. So there are 2 steps: buying the token, registering the token, and then you can start working on your application. Another important website to keep in mind is the ECFMG Medical School web portal, or PMSWP. This is important because if your school is participating in this web portal, a lot of your documents will be uploaded directly by your college. If not, you have to get in touch with ECFMG, and then they can direct you on how to upload your documents. So this is where you go and buy your match token. Like I said, it'll be available towards the end of June unless there are other changes to the dates, and we'll let you know. And this is the AMC My IRAS portal where you register your token and then you log in, start working on your application. So now let me give you a quick overview on how to search for the programs based on your profile and other information. So I'm going to go over these 2 resources. One is the FRIDA program website, and other is what our own students use, the Sarthi list. FRIDA, this is the website which is one of your sources to research the programs, and it's fairly intuitive and straightforward. You can select the programs or you can view all specialties like I am doing. Let's say you are interested in internal medicine, so you can search for internal medicine only programs. And like you see, you can also filter the programs down in terms of community based, let's say, or university based. So you can do all this filtration, and then you can see more details about the program. So Frida is one of the sources of information. However, sometimes the information may not be updated, it may not be current, and there are limits to what you can get on Frida. And that's where we have developed our own list that we share with our students. So this is where our students they come, they make their profile, and they can search the programs based on their profile and the visa requirements, and we share all the specialties that we have with them. So we focus on 6 primary specialties: internal medicine, family medicine, pediatrics, neurology, pathology. So those specialties are mostly needed by IMG. So I've just created a profile. So you can see, based on my profile, there are 236 matches for internal medicine. So you can go into internal medicine, and then you will see how we have divided the programs in terms of the best matches, which are exactly meeting your profile, some of other possible stretch matches, difficult matches, and all others where there may not be enough information and we could not put it in one bucket or the other. And then you get the details of each and every program that we have here. So let me just show you what level of detail we provide. We also have details that our students put in. So let's say I go to Phoenix Mayo Clinic. So you will see all types of details if they have made it available, the visa sponsorships, the score requirements, if we have it, additional information, whatever we've been able to gather. And this is where the students' notes are there. So you can see each student contributes to our list, and we have very good notes on most of the programs. And what we also have is the interview profile. So if our students have interviewed at a particular program, you will see what profile was there in terms of their scores, in terms of the visa requirement, did they have home country residency, US master, how much USCE did they have. So those details help our students as they apply to the programs to see if the profile actually matches with what a program is looking for. Now let's talk about applying to the programs. So as we discussed, this starts September the 6th, and the programs will access it September 15th. You will need to complete your application, certify it, and you cannot change the content of the application after you certify it. You will need to obviously do your personal statements, decide on the number of programs to apply. You will need to assign LORs after uploading them. So each time you select a program to apply to, you have to assign the LOR and the personal statement. Of course, this is not a trivial task, writing the personal statement and completing the ERAS application to maximize your interviews. And we have special courses, we give special guidance to our own students as they prepare their personal statement. We review them, edit them, and I'll show you just in a bit. Now, like I was saying, we have extensive help for our student when it comes to the ERAS CV and personal statement. We do have a physician review each and every personal statement that comes to us. And then, of course, we have a journalist team. So the journalist team will also provide inputs. It's a fairly comprehensive process, so physician and journalist. And also we have separate classes on how to make your ERAS CV more compelling. Once you have applied comes the interview time. Now I'm showing this chart based on the NRMP data, and it'll show you how the invites will generally come. So you will see that about 18% of the interview invites are sent out in September, about 47% come in October. So October is a very prolific month. Then the number of invites in November, about 22%, and then it tapers off. So this will help you plan the interview season once you know when you can expect the interviews. The second chart here shows the months in which interviews are conducted. Now this is something you may expect, that September only 1% of the interviews are conducted. October starts off, about 12% of the interviews are conducted in October. But you can see here that the November, December, and January constitute the bulk of the interviews. In fact, about 87% of the interviews are conducted in November, December, January, and maybe some in Feb. So something important to keep in mind. Now, we are also often asked what type of help we give you in the interview. So let me show you that in a minute. When it comes to interview preparation, we have quite an extensive help for our students. So we offer them classes, we offer them mock interviews, we offer them one-on-one coaching as well. And you can go to our website and look up all the curriculum we have around interviewing. So whether it's behavioral questions or medical questions, some of the other classes that are useful, some of the mock interviews. And then what we also have is a very extensive database of the various programs. So for example, if you have interview, it is likely that we will have the specific questions that are asked at that program. You can see we have prior experiences. Our students have gone there. They have written about what type of interviews questions you can expect. So about 6-7 students in the past 2 years have been to this program, and they have commented on how the experience was, what type of questions were asked. Okay, as you are interviewing and we are getting to the end of the season, comes in the NRMP match program, and like we've already discussed, you will need to register with NRMP separately. NRMP will run the match algorithm. You have to submit your rank order list. So the registration with the NRMP system can start as soon as September 15th. The deadline is end of November. And if you do register after November, you have to pay some penalty. And the rank order deadline list is also end of February. Now there are a couple of tools out there that can help you decide on your rank order list. One is the NRMP's Match Prism. The Prism app is from NRMP, and we also help our students with the rank order list. On our own rank order list as well, we support our students extensively. So you are seeing a snapshot of our rank order tool. So here our students can create their own factors. We work with them on why they are assigning weights to a particular factor. So it's weighted average. And then we also tell them how other students have assigned weights to that particular factor. So this is something that is missing in a lot of other tools, the weighted average and the one-on-one advice that we give them after they've filled up the tool. We pull it from the hospital list that they are interviewing at, and then we can create a rank order list for them. So this is how our rank order list tool works. All right, once you have submitted your rank order list, then the waiting game begins. The match is the third Monday of the March. That is the day when at 11 a.m. Eastern, you will know whether you've matched or not. If you have not matched, unfortunately, there is something called a SOAP, supplementary offer and accept, and that's the unfilled programs. If they are available, you can apply to them. It is done in various rounds, and we have separate videos and blogs around that, so I'm not going to go into details. And once all this process ends, then on Friday of the match week, you will get to know which program, which specialty you've matched at. So that was all about the match season. Hopefully this was useful to you and you can use this to plan your math season.